Right here you see a monument that is dedicated to the Belgian Congo, because what is now known as the Democratic Republic of Congo, or Congo-Kinshasa, was a part of the Belgian Colonial Empire. The Belgians ruled Congo from 1908 till 1960, but before that, the Congo was a private domain of the Belgian king, King Leopold II. In this video, you're going to learn about the Belgian colonization of Congo. Keep watching. When thinking of European colonial powers, the Kingdom of Belgium does not often come to mind directly, yet the Belgians did possess one of the largest countries on the African continent. When Congo is mentioned, people often immediately make the link to Belgian Congo. However, the colonial history of this former Belgian colonial territory begins much earlier. Indeed, from 1885 to 1908, it was the private property and reclamation region of the controversial Belgian monarch Leopold II, and was known as the Congo Free State. Already as crown prince, the young Leopold II doted on the idea of expanding the territory of Belgium and acquiring overseas colonies. Numerous ideas were put forward and just as quickly swept off the map. Thus he successfully tried to obtain parts of Borneo, the Fiji Islands, among others. During a trip to Istanbul, he met with the Ottoman Sultan Abdulhamid II, from whom he tried to buy the present Greek island of Lesbos, which was then still under Ottoman rule. In 1865, the then 30-year-old crown prince succeeded his father Leopold I. He stated that he wanted to make Belgium bigger, more powerful, and more beautiful. In the 19th century, the opening up of the Central African interior began. In 1886, David Livingstone explored the surroundings of Lake Tanganyika, and in 1875, Verne Lovett Cameron discovered the headwaters of the Lualaba and Kasai rivers, both important tributaries of the Congo River. Leopold II's interest was naturally piqued, and almost immediately afterwards, in 1876, he founded the Association Internationale Africaine. This institute was given the task of meticulously preparing Leopold II's African colonization plans. He was soon able to raise the necessary funds to finance several expeditions to explore the Central African interior from Zanzibar. Leopold II called on Henry Morton Stanley for this purpose. He succeeded in sailing down the Congo River in 1879, and sometime later founded a trading post at the mouth of the river, which, referring to his patron, he named Leopold City, later Kinshasa. At the Berlin Conference in 1885, actually nothing more than an assembly of some 15 countries that wanted to divide the African continent among themselves, Leopold II finally won his battle. Referring to the expeditions he had financed through the AIA, he claimed the entire territory around the Congo River. The then great powers participating in the conference agreed to the claims put forward by the Belgian monarch. The Congo Free State was born. However, the newly acquired territory, some 80 times larger than Belgium and encompassing large parts of equatorial rainforest, was for Leopold II no more than a trivial profit-making area that must yield the greatest possible profit in the shortest possible time with the minimum of cost. In the early years, it was mainly the ivory trade that proved very lucrative for the Belgian monarch. However, it was the invention of the rubber tire in 1887 by John Boyd Dunlop that would mean a truly inexhaustible source of wealth for Leopold II. Indeed, the sudden immense demand on the world market for rubber for automobile tires and other things soon made the export of coveted rubber the main source of income. The unseen urge to make as much profit as possible naturally and almost inevitably led both to massive exploitation of the Congolese and to numerous barbaric abuses. These claimed many lives. Dutch historian Wesseling pointed out the disastrous consequences. The damage done in the Free State was enormous. The population of the Congo region, according to the most authoritative estimate, declined from 20 to 10 million people, in other words, halved between 1880 and 1920. Massacres were the most spectacular of these, but not the main cause in numerical terms. More important were the famines that broke out as a result of entire populations fleeing the Free State military. Most important, however, were the diseases, such as smallpox and sleeping sickness. The latter, the Black Death of Africa, killed up to 80% of the population in some areas. Consequently, such systematic and extremely violent practices did not go unnoticed. Slowly but surely, all kinds of stories were popping up all over the world, and protests against Leopold II's autocratic rule in his private colony were growing. Only after alarming reports about the many abuses in the Congo Free State were once again published in the international press, Leopold II decided to transfer his private property to the Belgian state in 1908, on which it was renamed the Belgian Congo. Leopold II, who actually never set foot in the Congo himself, he died in 1909 at the age of 74 in his palace at Laken. Belgium acquired its colonial status in an unusual way. In 1908, it took over the Congo from Leopold II, not as a result of a national expansionist project, but through political pressure. Initially, there was skepticism, but broad support for colonialism soon emerged, with the exception of socialists and a few progressive liberals and Christian Democrats. The Catholic Church and economic elites strongly supported the colony, and Belgium justified its presence with propaganda about a civilizing mission. Economically, Congo became an important investment for Belgian companies starting in the 1920s, especially in mining and infrastructure. However, forced labor and racial segregation remained fundamental features of the colonial regime. The Congolese people were exploited and oppressed, while they had barely any political rights. After World War II, Belgium tried to modernize the colony with a 10-year plan. Basic education and healthcare were expanded, but secondary and higher education were limited to prevent an upcoming intellectual Congolese elite. The colonial government presented Congo as a model colony, but the reality remained that of inequality and exploitation. Ultimately, these restrictions and contradictions contributed to the inevitable path to Congolese independence in 1960. In the mid-1950s, the Belgian Congo began to rumble quietly, and in 1959, riots broke out, sparked by ABACO of Joseph Kasa-Vubu and the MNC led by Patrice Lumumba, who both demanded complete independence. The rapidly escalating situation compelled Belgium to declare the independence of Congo as of June 30th, 1960. Kasa-Vubu became elected president, and Lumumba was assigned the post of prime minister. As in many African nations, the major troubles started after independence had been achieved. The Belgian historian David van Rijbroek wrote in his best-selling book about Congo that it would be a bit improvisational that first time after independence. Everyone knew that not everything would go smoothly was one thing, but that in the first 6 months after its existence, the Congo would have to deal with serious mutiny in the army, a mass exodus of Belgians who had stayed behind, an invasion of the Belgian army, military interference by the United Nations, logistical support from the Soviet Union, a very heated phase of the Cold War, an unprecedented constitutional crisis, 2 secessions that covered a third of the territory, and, to top it all, a captured, escaped, arrested, tortured, and murdered prime minister. No one really foresaw that. And it didn't get any better. If you want to learn about the Dutch colonial empire, click here. I made this video a while back. Thank you so much for watching. See you later.